IPI is an innovation catalyst that creates opportunities for enterprises to grow beyond boundaries. As an extension of its services, the Innovation Advisors Program aims to support Singapore's SME and startups in the innovation journey by pairing company with industry practitioners to give insights and advice to accelerate their growth plans. Today, we are here to meet these industry veterans who are also innovation advisors with IPI. They are Mr. Mike Amour, Mr. Benny Goh, and Mr. Bill Padfield. Their experience encompasses C-level relationships and management, corporate strategy, and consultation in companies all around the world. Welcome, gentlemen. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak with us about your leadership experience and how you use this in your role as an IA in IPI. So my first question is, what motivates you to become an IA?
When I first met IPI, they were very clear about the fact that this is really using our experience as advisors to give back to Singapore and to help Singapore businesses in a way that perhaps they wouldn't be able to be assisted by leveraging on the expertise of people from different backgrounds.
Now, in my case, I'm giving back to Singapore because I'm a returning Singaporean. I've been away for 15 years, and to me that brings me a lot of joy because helping Singapore companies realize their potential, right, from our advice is something that is very useful and obviously helps them succeed.
I was introduced by an existing IA, and they described the role and it sounded intriguing. The fact that after 25 years here in Singapore, I could actually, number one, keep active, number two, give something back. I know it's a bit of a cliche, but it really is true. It's something that I enjoy doing.
Now, what qualities does a good leader possess, and how does that impact the company?
Part of it is obviously that vision and setting that vision as a good leader, but also showing your team how to execute on that vision. And this links back to some of the work that I've been doing with a couple of companies so far, where they actually have a reasonably good vision, but it doesn't translate into a strategy. And once you take them through some of the proven methodologies on how to get there, all of a sudden you can see the lights coming on. It's like, we get it, and that's been tremendously rewarding with a few of the companies here.
Good leaders in any walk of life have to do three things. They have to make decisions, they have to enable the organization to act on those decisions, and they have to be able to create simplicity out of complexity.
How do you make sure that people follow you, right, even in this kind of circumstance? And this is what it talks about, being able to be empathetic towards your employees, to treat them properly so that they can follow you.
How can business leaders then leverage on things like technology and their business model to adapt and evolve in our current world right now?
The more that we have technology that can get the message about your company, no matter how small or big, it's great because you can potentially create new markets very, very quickly. But it's not just about the technology, about being an enabler. It's about what is the vision for the organization that you are communicating through that technology. And the more technology there is, the sharper that message needs to be. Many of the companies that I meet through IPI have got a great story to tell, but they don't necessarily know how to tell it. And that's part of sort of our job really, is to help be able to help those companies to articulate those stories in a much simpler, more powerful, more relevant way.
One of the things I see, people tend to put the technology because they see somebody else doing it, and I implant my own SAP. And to optimize it actually requires understanding the market, the business itself, and having innovation advisors like us can help you really shorten the whole learning cycle.
How are you going to sort of capture the people's attention about what your company is doing? What's the best way to go about in terms of storytelling?
there's a lot behind social media strategies. It's not just a simple, hire a guy. And also with small companies, am I trying to drive my brand or am I trying to drive a product? Because if you are a small company with a small budget, even if you're using clever tools and social media, you're still one tree in a forest, and how are you ever going to get spotted amongst all those other trees? So if you are pushing a product that you can have technology people endorse that product in different parts of the world, all of a sudden you can have an impact above and beyond your size.
What outcome are you trying to generate? Is it awareness? Is it change of behavior? Is it drive people to your website? Is it to purchase? You're trying to have that right blend of people who really understand data and what to do, but marry that with an understanding of how that data can translate into actionable insights that affect your bottom line positively tomorrow. That's the holy grail.
How then can business leaders lead and encourage their own people to grow and pivot in times of change so that the company can transform to be relevant to this current world right now?
This is where we use digitization. A lot of companies today are still very manpower intensive. The use of robots, for example, can alleviate the situation dramatically in terms of labor supply, right?
Even basic things like the structure. How should I structure my business? How do I structure for growth? Once you've gone through the numbers, you can see where the company's economic engine is pretty quickly. No emotion, just looking at the numbers. And then you go back to the organization, you say, where do you want to go? And often it's misaligned from where they're making money. So you'll say, why do you want to spend all that over there when you're actually making all your money over here?
Sometimes one of the easiest ways to spot what's going on is to ask to see the latest presentations that the company has given to its prospects or clients, and then look at the website, and then look at other sort of areas where they communicate, and you realize that the messaging is all over the place, and they don't realize it because they're so close to it. So part of sort of our job is to provide that objective perspective.
Now, what would then be one advice you would give to SMEs to gain the most benefit from embarking this journey with IAP?
The business owners or the leaders need to be open and need to be willing to engage. And some say they are, but they're not really. They have to realize that just because we've got 40 years experience and they're only an SME, actually it's a great, potentially symbiotic relationship.
Have a clear scope. What are you trying to achieve? What does success look like? Are you clear about your problem statements? And then it's good for both sides. We know exactly what we can get involved with. We know exactly what bench of skills we may need to collaborate with to get there.
The use of a sounding board, because at the end of the day, all the mistakes or challenges the leader faces is actually quite similar across different industries. So we may not come from the same industry as our SME leader is, but we come with certain experiences, and this will be very helpful as a sounding board, what you need not to do so that you can avoid the pitfalls.
Leadership and how to lead one's company is truly something that we should always have at the back of our minds, regardless of industry. It is the foundation of any and every company. Thank you once again for sharing your experience and thoughts about business leaders in our modern age. We hope that companies continue to accelerate their growth with IPI. If you're keen to partner up with one of our IAs, please head over to IPI website to find out more details.